Well, the playoffs are on and well underway as we navigate the 15th round of the Area Florida State Builders Pro Series. With just a couple races left on the calendar, next week at Fontana, California, and then Chicagoland Speedway at the finale, it is about time to get yourself at the top of the board if you haven't yet. 4 drivers will be eliminated after next week's race in California, and those 4 will go on. The next 4 will go on to Chicagoland to compete in the title. Hi, everybody, and welcome to round 2 of the Florida State Builders Area Area Florida State Builders Pro Series. Welcome to Iowa Speedway, the first of 2 rounds in this round, Hunter, as we head down to the racetrack. 155 laps tonight, and the goal is be above that cut line by the end of the race.
Yeah, drivers are going to want to be above that cutoff line because it gives them a little bit less pressure on them heading into Auto Club next week. But big names missing the next round, or this round of the playoffs, should say. Connor Urashak, the biggest one. Shame what happened to him a week ago with that cutoff line being so close, but that opened the door for someone like Clayton Montgomery, who still has a shot vying at that championship. And enters tonight below the cutoff line, as well as a couple of other big names in the series as we're looking through. As I'm trying to look through the playoff grid. You got Travis Beckner as well, Matthew Bell and Brandon Bowie. Then we got Furnace, Theory, and Nicholas Scali. So those are the 8 guys vying for the championship for playoff spots in a couple weeks' time in Chicagoland.
So qualifying is underway right now, and it's a big field of cars, Hunter. We've got nearly 40 vying for victory here tonight, and they've got 8 minutes to lay down their qualifying effort. Those in the ticker that are in the red are below the cutoff line. They have work to do. They aren't necessarily eliminated by the end of the night, although they could mathematically probably put themselves in that hole. But those in yellow are currently above the cut line, and their goal is to stay there or to win the race and lock themselves into that last round at Chicagoland Speedway in 2 weeks' time. So that's really the goal, is if you're not in yellow, to be in yellow, and if you're yellow or red, be green, because that will mean that you're the one of 2 drivers that could lock themselves into that final round on wins rather than points. So that's a consideration, and Matthew Bell doing everything that he needs to do in the red tonight, up at the top right now, provisionally in qualifying.
And I can confirm without a shadow of a doubt that this will be the first race this week where Jake Matheson won't be winning. He won both Monday night and Tuesday night in the Truck Series. Tuesday night a little bit more intense than Monday night, but it's going to give guys a good shot at trying to lock themselves into the playoffs. So we see Matthew Bell there, the quickest time on the board so far. Still got a handful or so of drivers left to put down the lap. And looking at Clayton Montgomery on the track, another one of those guys that are entering tonight below the playoff grid. In order to move on to the next round, as Munsell goes to the top of the board.
And after long, Danny Ware hips him by 3/1000ths of a second, so it's Ware, Munsell, then Bell. Here's Clayton Montgomery that you mentioned a moment ago. He's also in the red below the cut line coming into the night, so he has work to do as well. And let's see what his qualifying effort is. 24.3. That's only good enough for about 8 spots. That would be, I would assume, roughly midfield by the time all is said and done. Now, nobody yet in the yellow above the cut line has made a qualifying effort. Here's Travis Beckner, and he will be the first of those to put a time down.
Travis Beckner, he's got, well, the camera's not set up properly, but what is set up properly is his steering wheel. Got a whole new setup in, got pedals, got a seat, and more importantly, a steering wheel that will stick to his desk, and it won't be like he's driving over potholes. It'll be like a smooth ride going on I-95.
Yeah, I think that'll be a transcendental thing for Travis to have a rig that sticks to the ground as much as he can stick his car to the road. So he is going to be a threat, but it's going to take some getting used to. I'm going to go out on a limb here, though, Hunter. I think this is a dangerous move to switch your rig in the middle of the playoffs. I think that's a big risk because you're not used to it, and it takes everybody some time. Okay, never mind. I retract all that. Second place.
Yeah, P2 on the board for Travis Beckner. It seems like he's picked up a couple of tenths or so.
Now he's just showing off.
He's having a blast getting that new rig in. But yeah, still got less than half the time remaining in qualifying, less than 5 minutes to go. Greg Mitchell, a guy who was eliminated from the playoffs last week, but still trying to end the season on a high note, as is Alan Elwood in the 10, currently the top time on the board.
And Greg Mitchell working his way around. And John Furnace in the 28 also owes us a qualifying effort here. He's also below the cut line coming into the night. And a couple of others waiting much later in the session to go out for their efforts. Maybe waiting for that track temp to drop 117 Fahrenheit. That is a lot.
Very warm track temps. Going to be hot and slick. Guys are already saying that it's loose, but David Weishart said it's loose like Monday, but you can actually control it, if that makes any sense. Where Monday apparently it was loose, but you couldn't really control it whatsoever. But because it's an Xfinity car, it's got a little more free steering there, as James Scioli going to look at possibly getting the pole and trying to lock himself into the championship 4 early.
And here's Scioli dropping down into turn 3 now in his Rick's Hot Sauce Toyota. And out of turn 4, let's see what he's got. Go up on the board. Will be a 24.196. That is good enough for 5th. See if he can do one better.
Yeah, this is technically a short track, a track less than a mile in length, 7/8 of a mile to be exact. So these guys will have 2 laps to try and put down their fastest time on the board. And we'll see what the 7 does on lap number 2.
About a turn 4, average speed of 132 miles an hour last time, 131.8 that time, a little slower, so he will not pick up nor improve. Here's Shane Therien in the number 9, another one of our playoff competitors, and first lap for him is slow, so he's going to aim for that second lap to be the magic one as he rolls up out of turn 2. And it is a new paint scheme for this number 9 here this week. Nice looking Evil Controllers number 9 Toyota.
Very evil, very fast indeed, as he races his way into the current round of the playoffs, round number 2. Coming across the stripe, could have put down.
Was better, but only 17th.
Yeah, gonna need a little more during the race. Still 2 minutes to go, and some guys still haven't made their laps, including the 28 of John Furness.
As far as onboard cameras tonight, we got Munsell, Senesac, and Beckner giving us a look inside their Florida State Builders Area Pro Series rides. So we'll check in with those throughout the night as Furness gets up to speed, the 34th driver to qualify. By the way, Connor Horn will be here tonight. He told me earlier that he would be late, and I just forgot because I am overloaded with double duty streams. So he told me earlier, he's like, I'll be a little late. And I said, okay. And then I was panicking.
Oh,
that was tight.
A little bit of panic. A little bit of panic there from the 28 of Furness. He's trying to rip the 3rd lane, or the 4th lane, if you will, if you can make it work 4 wide here, but not outside the lane. It was a big dividend for Monday and Tuesday night. We'll see. Probably be the same thing tonight.
Not a bad lap. 8th place. 24.215. Travis has fixed his camera for us. Thanks, Travis. Furness heads down the straightaway now and into turn 3. This will be his last lap here. What's he got? Is it to the top of the board? Needs to be to 132.101. 131.905. Slower lap 2. He will stay 8th for now. And Connor Horn has joined us. And Connor, I apologize. He told me, he's like, I'll be late. And then I acknowledged that and said, absolutely no problem, Connor.
Then I'm getting yelled at.
And then here I am in every Discord I can find. Where are you at? Because I had another stream before this, and I just completely forgot that you told me
I am
that.
going to fire you. How dare you? You never give me a
I
heads
didn't
up.
say that. I just said, where are you at?
Yes,
Just wondering. But then I realized I didn't need to wonder because you told me. But welcome. We're just finishing up qualifying here. We were a little late because of a server configuration issue tonight, so we got that sorted. 155 laps on tap here this evening. Well, interesting to note that only 4 of our 8 playoff competitors, Connor, are in the top 10, 2 each of above the cut line and below the cut line. And Jake Nichols might make that a 3rd above because he's rocking it out of turn 4 right now.
Yeah, he does come out of turn 4. I think this has worked out well for him. I don't know if he got a time down.
36th. He will not.
But he probably would have been, I don't know if he would have gotten a time down even at a chance without having the server be a little late. I believe Road the Pro is tonight, and that starts at 8. So I didn't think he'd get in anyway. So luckily he's at least in here to start this race. That was not the case at Bristol. By the way, I believe John Furness, I don't know if Hunter can back me up in this. I thought John Furness was above the cut line.
He is. I was looking at the wrong graphic.
Well,
Uh-oh.
Well, they got the points all mumbo jumbo from the one I was looking at.
I think I have it right on the sheet as well.
Well, let's have a look at that sheet. That'll give us this. We're going to keep an update on this anyway. It doesn't actually really matter where they start. It really matters where they finish. It was Beckner that was below the cut line, not John. But here's a look at things before we rocket into the evening here, Connor. What stands out to you? To me, these are much bigger gaps than we've seen in the other categories, other series, especially with Scioli and Nichols. 29-25, they could probably lock themselves in tonight with a pretty solid run, and then some others having some bad runs.
It is a little interesting to see how it is pretty spread out. That's because Scioli has had a dominant season as far as wins. Jake Nichols only has the one victory, but the regular season title and solid, consistent results has given him this 25-point gap. And that was why he was able to essentially skip Bristol and run around doing nothing there. And he was still all but locked in after Bristol going into Kansas. So it's a lot of work for a lot of drivers below that cut line, because a lot of those drivers have had decent runs all season long, but they haven't really been in contention like those top four. Travis Beckner, he was a late addition to the playoffs because of other drivers not having the schedule to run the first two races of the round. So he was the beneficiary of that. One at Bristol, but he's still 7 back. So he has a lot of work to do. And Clayton Montgomery, not a single top 5 all season. He's probably going to need 2 in a row to get into the Final Four.
Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise, all at the price of just $5 a month. And of course, HelloFresh is our starting grid sponsor. Looking to eat healthier in 2024 without having to spend extra money? HelloFresh is here to help. Choose from over 40 calorie smart and protein smart meal options each week. Each meal arrives pre-portioned, giving you less time to prep and more time to enjoy your meal. HelloFresh also gives you free breakfast for life with an active subscription. What are you waiting for? Click the link below to get started with America's #1 meal kit today and use the coupon code to save 50% off your first box. Head over to twitch.tv/Area iRacing and type in HelloFresh. All right, starting lineup. Let's kick things off, Connor. It's front row Alan Elwood in the number 10. Travis Beckner is below the cut line coming into the night. He will need some assistance to get above it. He starts in second place.
Bonus point would have gone a big way, but Elwood steals it from him. Then row number 2, non-playoff drivers, Justin Munsell, who's always a threat. He starts 4th. Danny Ware's on the inside, starting in the 3rd position.
And behind them is James Scioli starting in 5th in the number 7. Cameron Hearn, he was a threat here on Monday. He starts 6th in the number 4.
7th place, 2 drivers, 1 driver below the cut line, 1 just above it. Matthew Bell in 7th, and then John Furness in the 8th position.
And 9th place, it's Richard Thomas in the number 37, recently eliminated. Mason Kane starts 10th in the number 31.
11th place is going to be Brad Slaughter Jr., dominant in the Truck Series race. We'll see if it's the same thing tonight. He comes from 11th. Greg Mitchell starts 12th, also just eliminated.
Brandon Bowie under the cut line, needs some work tonight to get up above it. Starts 13th. Ed Robertson rolls off 14th in the number 64.
15th position will be the 84 of Shane Abbey part-time this season. Alex Bell in his 15 Supra starts 16th.
17th place is Justin Anisogak in the number 88, and Shane Therian rolls off 18th in the number 9.
19th position will be David Weishart, who was decent, a lap away from winning the truck race on Tuesday night. And then Clayton Montgomery, 12 points below the cut line, needs a big race tonight.
21st place, Bryce Senesac in the 09. He got an onboard cam to follow with him this evening. Nico Garcia starts 22nd in the 41 machine.
23rd place, the 18 of Colin Fambro, and then 24th place, a Supra alongside him, the 61 of Bronson Stafford.
And Chris Rabel starts 25th in the number 29 car. Brody Fallaker, 26th in the number 42.
27th position, the iRacing, or at least I think it's the iRacing Camaro. That's the 38 of Jordan Martin. Yes, he still is in iRacing colors. 28th will be the 62 of Alex Weaver.
And 29th is Delonte Ballard. Jeremy Miller rolls off 30th in the fittingly numbered 30 car.
And 2 teammates on that row. Then 31st place, Garrett Grant in his number 5, and then Ryan Swan in his Camaro, in the number 54.
33rd place, Steve Durham in the number 1. Spencer Brown starts 34th, the number 95.
35th place will be Eugenio Alonso, and alongside him will be the regular season champion with no qualifying time, the furthest back of the playoff drivers, Jake Nichols.
Stay out of trouble, Jake. Casey Licata starts 37th in the number 50. Then it's Joey Chapman last in 38th in the number 60. Pick me a winner, Hunter. Who do you got winning this thing?
I'm going to go on a limb and say Jake Nichols.
Man, from all the way back. Connor, who you got?
I think Beckner's going to be fast, but I'm going to go a little outside the box. I think Matthew Bell's had speed here in the past. I think he does it.
I'll take your bluff. I'm going to go with Travis Beckner in the 27. I think he wins this race. I think he propels himself to the next round of the playoffs, just like he had done the last time out. That's how things are going to happen tonight. We'll see how it pans out for me and for you guys as we roll out of turn number 4. 160 laps is the race distance, just over an hour of race time. Should we go green? We've seen a lot of green flag running this week. Green flag flies and we're racing in the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series playoffs. Lap 1 complete. Beckner leads. Elwood, Munsell, second and third. Munsell's going to give a shot to the 27. It doesn't quite get to the bumper. Now off into turn 1. These cars, I think, would be the raciest of the 3 that we've seen here this week. Connor, Monday was very treacherous. Tuesday, plenty of grip. Lots more collisions, though. What's Wednesday or Thursday hold for us as far as on-track action?
Well, not much grip. From what I ran in a practice session earlier today, these things plow bad. The front end won't turn, but the rear doesn't have grip as well. So you're really going to be sawing on the wheel trying to get out of the corner without slamming the outside wall. In the fuel window, you can get the halfway, which is lap 80, and I believe it will be faster than anyone trying a 2-stop. So going 80 laps on one set of tires, you have to be very careful. Fall off is pretty, it's almost like a cliff in the first 25 laps.
Already seeing the second and third lanes being used by the racers inside the top 10 and throughout the rest of the field. Mason Kane was rolling through the 7th position, now looking for 6th underneath Danny Ware on the 49. And then up in front of them, we got a top 5 battle going on between Hearn and Furness.
Yeah, Cameron Hearn was a real threat on Monday, Connor. Throwing that car way up on the outside lane. Made up, kind of drove through the field 3 or 4 times, but couldn't keep it there. Well, why was that?
It's just tire wear and how on edge those Cup cars were. It was ridiculous. The fall off was horrible. You could not drive it if you drove too hard the first 10 laps. That's why he always used the high line to come to the front and then went to the back. He was just having fun really out there, just driving the car as hard as possible. It didn't work. I don't think it's going to work tonight, but you have a much more maneuverability. We should see the higher line work a little bit better. We saw by the end of the Tuesday night truck race that high line was a little bit more preferred than the bottom lane, especially in 3 and 4. So it should work out more in his favor tonight.
Already working on Elwood for 3rd. He started on pole, but has fallen a few spots since then, and Hearn trying to make up that ground on the outside. Meanwhile, Munsell's closed in on the bumper of Beckner, but he's got a mirror full of Cameron Hearn right behind him.
Elwood pulls down to the inside here, but I like the prevailing outside lane and the speed you can carry. Monday, turn 4 was the trouble spot. Tuesday, it was turn 2 where we saw the most calamity. I always found the center of 1 and 2 pretty challenging because there's a bump down there on the apron or very close to it that can get you in trouble and shoot you up the racetrack. But turn 4 is often a big commitment, and you can end up in the fence or spinning out as Munsell's going to get split here. But Cameron Hearn will look into the outside, but that door isn't open long enough.
Got onto the throttle pretty well to re-clear. You do not want to be 3 wide in the middle here. You also don't want to be bottom 3 wide. If you're top 3 wide, you're fine, but it is so hard to keep the nose down out of the corner, especially turn 4. We could easily see some crashes as we look at the background. It's frantic outside the top 30, but notably Jake Nichols, he has not moved. In fact, he went backwards a spot until getting that back from Garrett Grant, but he is just cruising right now. I think he's just waiting for a yellow, maybe play strategy to get track position because it's a hornet's nest ahead of him. He doesn't seem too thrilled with racing for them.
I don't blame him either because anything can go sour with any of the drivers in the field, especially at the top of the standings like Jake Nichols. But currently he's 7 below the cutoff line as we run, but that's bound to change at any given time during the race as you see Beckner there in the lead. So he's at the top currently with that win, presuming he gets the win.
It's just interesting because Jake was pretty far ahead of the cut line. But, I mean, this is obviously worst case scenario, but it's not impossible that he doesn't move on. And that would be pretty catastrophic as far as the season is concerned. Travis Beckner currently upset in the apple cart because he was under the cut line coming in, but in yellow now and leading this race. Connor, that's an automatic advancement. But as soon as he drops out of this lead, things shift around quite a bit.
Yeah, it will shift around, no doubt about that, as he's still led all 9 laps of this race so far, I believe, as Justin Munsell is hunting for that race lead. The good news about it is that there are only 3 of our 8 playoff drivers in the top 10 right now. Everyone else you got the 3 in the top 7, but then it's Matthew Bell back in 11th, and then even further back is Bowie and Therian. So very spread out as far as the top 8 are concerned.
Interesting in how this is going. So Beckner's running the bottom as Kane's blinking in and out, but well, now they just switched up on me, go figure. But Beckner was running the bottom in 3 and 4. Everyone else running the outside line. As it seems like that Well, it won't be the case. So Beckner's taking notice of the outside lane again. The runs off the turns. Elwood's going to go low, try to get around the Hearn for third.
And it sounds like this rig for Travis Beckner was an early birthday gift from Grandma Vicky and Granddad Dave and Uncle Brian. So he gets this new rig to give things a go, and I would say so far things are looking good. And I said when we were watching his rig bounce around earlier that if he could just stabilize it, he would realize how important it is to have all of your equipment static and mounted solidly to the rig that you're on. And I think it's going to unlock something in Travis. I don't even know that he has experienced yet, and that is stability. And with that comes consistency. And consistent Travis Beckner, Connor, is a big threat to everybody else.
But he was hoping that came before Monday night, because I think he could have won that race if he had a stable wheel, because it required a steady wheel. But yeah, very good timing. He's going to have practice with it throughout the off week that we're going to have next week for week 13. So he's going to be very dangerous when we come to the last two races in all three series that he runs, from Auto Club to Chicagoland.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one there, and will be interesting to see if he can hold off the 6 of Munsell, because he's been all over that back bumper of Beckner over the last handful of laps or so, and Beckner's taken note of that. He's driven up to the outside lane, stunting the run from the 6 and even the 4 of Cameron Hearn, so it's all a choo-choo train, 1, 2, 3.
Here comes Munsell, but it doesn't seem like he's super excited to try the bottom of the track. I think he's waiting for a better opportunity up high, but Travis continues to tick away laps led, and we continue to tick away laps in general. Monday we saw lots of green flag running. Tuesday kind of few and far between, but we still did see some chunks of green flag here and there. And the way things are panning out, I think we'll see something similar to that tonight. Even with a 38-car grid, all the cars are still within 10 seconds on track, and that track temp continues to climb north of 120 degrees.
This is not something we really got to see Monday because of the setup, and it's also really not something we got to see Tuesday because it was more of a day-to-night transition. We have not seen these drivers be able to have no grip around this track and also be able to move around the track at the same time. We're seeing John Furness try the bottom in 3 and 4. He's trying to get by Alan Elwood for 4th, but Elwood's running that higher line, maybe a groove off the outside wall and making it work. And you also see drivers like Jordan Martin trying the middle lane, trying to make that work as Case Licatos follows him through. As really not much movement, not too many passes. All these playoff drivers have kind of been stuck where they are. Clayton Montgomery is one that has gone backwards. He started 20th. He's back 8 positions. For driver Hunter, he came in the furthest below the cut line. This is all but certainly would put him in must-win territory if he can't improve.
Not impossible, but it does make it more difficult on yourself, putting that pressure on your shoulders heading into the next weekend. Not even that, just on this race in itself, because he's almost outside the top 30 now, down to 29th, and you're going to have to figure out a way how to get closer towards the front, like the 6 of Munsell, trying to get that run on the inside, but it won't be enough to get around Beckner.
Yeah, and pointing out Clayton Montgomery as here comes Hearn, surprise, down to the inside. He wants P2. Going back to the 45 of Montgomery, I said even on Tuesday that you can point your way into the round of 8, but pointing your way into the final 4 is incredibly challenging. You're going to have at least a win, I think, to really make it to that last 4. It's just really hard to get into that last 4 without being able to win a race here and there. And just kind of, some of these drivers have kind of limped along. They've stolen some pretty nice results here and there, but you have to be a consistent winner, be consistently in that top 3 or 5 to really show up there. And then to win the championship, you better be ready to go to Chicagoland and have to beat everybody else in that race.
Brandon Bowie's not as bad of a situation, but he's been consistent all season. He's inside the top 15, much better than the 45, but he still sits about 12 points below the cut line as they run. Matthew Bell, 7 below, even though he's climbing into the top 10. Jake Nichols is back there because he's 34th position. You have to be running for top 5s and wins, like you said, to be competing for titles. We are starting to get really slipping and sliding off the corners. This is really, from what I tested earlier, laps 25 to 30, this is where the majority of the fall off is. After this, if you go to lap 80, it's 65 laps between 25 and 80, the fall off will only go maybe half a second worse. So this is really the worst this car is going to feel at this point for these drivers. Oh, car on the wall down the front straightaway. Couldn't tell who that was. Maybe, I don't know, Spencer Brown possibly?
Yeah, he's still off
on the straightaway.
Yeah, let's have a look at what happened in the 95. He got kind of crossed up there out of 4, maybe contact here.
You know what? I think we did get the wrong car. I think it might have been Nico Garcia. Although, yes, he did get put in the wall hard. I think we had 2 different incidents down the front straightaway.
You're right. That was a car that I saw, but he Nico Garcia in the 41. You're right, it is the 41 with the highlighter colors. And he had Chris Rabel sneak up the outside and tag him, he put him hard in the wall and did a nice job gathering it up.
And that's the product of this car because it gets so tight on exit, but the rears don't have the grip to be able to turn it down as we're side by side for the lead. So what that causes is almost like a push loose, where you push, you turn the wheel to try to get it hard left, then it gets loose, and that's what happened to Rabel, and that's why he kind of right reared Garcia. It almost looked intentional, but I can assure everyone it was not.
See, in sim with the 6 of Justin Munsell is still lurking on the bumper of Beckner. Meanwhile, Hearn's falling back to 5th. Elwood's up to 3rd. Don't count out that 10 car yet. He still has a good opportunity at getting a win before the season's over.
The Travis Beckner lead is a little concerning, I think, for everybody else because you know how motivated he is, but to have this outright pace at the beginning, a lot of the races Travis has won, he's surprised people at the end because he's raced his way there, but he's got speed tonight on top of that. And give him the motivation of moving on and not having to worry about Fontana next week, where I don't think he historically has done very well. That is a big motivator. Here's Matthew Bell in the number 43. He's in the wall into turn 1, way up in the outside fence, trying to find room to race, and he ran out of it.
Concerned a little for his pace. He got up to about 8th position, then started going backwards. He's now back. He's still in 11th after that scrape with the wall, but not really gaining anything. Stuck behind Brad Slaughter Jr. with fellow playoff driver Brandon Bowie looking under him at the same time.
Yeah, interesting look at the 43 here from the rear of Brad Slaughter. So close to winning on Tuesday night with Slaughter, but now fighting to stay inside the top 10 as Bell looking to make that climb back towards the top 10. Didn't get it there off 2. Going to try and set him up in 3 and 4.
A little further back, Bryce Senesac and Ed Robertson, who I think has a new livery. Maybe it's the same one he's been running, but there's that 09. And we've got Bryce's on board here tonight as he's in the heat of battle back here for about 15th spot.
Yeah, I think that's Robertson's throwback scheme from Darlington. I think he liked it so much he's ran it all year. So you're starting to see more lines than you'd usually see in 1 and 2. You can't really run where the wall like you do in 3 and 4 because of the horrible bumps up there. But also, if you go down to the bottom, you can't run down there because there's bumps. So I'd be very careful with where you run. A very fine line of 1 and 2. It looks like Nico Garcia might call tonight. Did not hit the wall again, but going around the apron as Travis Beckner continues to lead.
While Jake Nichols is on the door of cracking the top 30 as Mitchell and Bell are battling for 10th on the track. Bowie following the tire tracks to the 43, and then Richard Thomas, another playoff driver who was eliminated last week from Kansas, but to no avail there as Bowie still working on the bumper of Bell, trying to get inside the top 10, and Thomas actually in the wall off 4.
Shane Therian will just squeeze on by there. And Beckner still leads the way, and Munsell has launched an assault on him here, but over the course of the run, I don't think Travis has gotten any slower. Definitely not a goer, so we'll see how long he can last up here. Different lines, though. Beckner on the bottom, Munsell up high, Connor, as the track gets rubbered in, and the track temperature continues to climb, now to 123 Fahrenheit.
And I would think the longer this run goes, I would think the bottom's going to be better for his tires, but it does get tight down there on the bottom. It just really hard to get it down to the bottom at all with how tight the front end is, but he's making it work so far, being very patient on throttle, being very cautious on entry as well to make that work, and that's why Munsell really hasn't had a shot at him in the last 10 laps or so.
Saw Elwood go through the bumps there in 1 and 2. Thing was almost bottoming out. All front for the lead. Munsell in the wall. Beckner, they almost collided. They might have made a little bit of contact, but Munsell went a little bit too high. Beckner's still in front.
Sorry to cut you off, Kyle. I don't think Munsell thought Beckner was going to run his line there.
Let's have a look at what happened.
Because Beckner's been running the bottom in 3 and 4, but now he runs the top, and I don't think Munsell's ready for that, and that's why they make contact.
Yeah, he just committed to the outside, and once the 27 had already committed, by the time you realize that, you can't really do anything. You can't just hit the brakes because you'll end up in the outside fence, so that's a tough scenario as a trailing driver. But now Justin understands the rules of engagement here, that Travis is going to run his line, and he's going to have to do a better job of anticipating that or leaving himself room in case Travis does that again. Nothing wrong with what Travis did there. Didn't change his line or block. Just picked a different line. It's perfect defense out here up front.
No, he did nothing wrong. It's just he caught the 6 by complete surprise. So really, really put the 6 off his game and spooked him a little bit, and that. I think that's what's letting Beckner maybe get away. Oh, Munsel's in the wall, got too high on entry there, but now he's going to be under pressure from Elwood and Furness for second position, and don't know if any damage was caused on the right front fender, but it definitely looks like he's starting to fall off, and Beckner is starting to pull away.
Looking to cross up the 6 is the 10 of Elwood, and looking to cross up the 10 of Elwood is the 6 of Munsell. So they're swapping positions for a second as they're rolling into turn 1. But yeah, Munsell made contact with the outside wall heading into turn 1 the last couple of laps, except that time through. And now Elwood's got the preferred line and is looking to set sail and has his eyes set on race leader Travis Beckner.
Elwood through to second, and he will carry on. The one chasing up the racetrack, but Beckner right down on that yellow line. We're 37 laps into this race. We have not had a single yellow flag yet, but things are getting spicy back here. Senesac, Fambro, and Weishart, we haven't talked a lot about tonight. Started deep in the field, not a playoff competitor, but just chipping away at about top 20 spots here.
Weishart, calm, cool, collected, just trying to get through the field. You got to be very patient with the way the car is set up, so you can't really drive too hard to get through the field. You just got to hope they fall off and come back to you. I think that he's in that part of the process now. Up 2, maybe make it 3 positions if he can get by Fambro, but it's hard to make it work on that bottom line as Alex Bell, Jeremy Miller almost made contact. The 30's been working over the 15 for the past 10 laps or so, and Alex Bell will not budge. Hard to pass tonight.
Guys vying for everything they can on the racetrack, and there's 20th on back. 21st is Chris Rabel in the 29. Then you got Ed Robertson there running 22nd, 23rd. Peeking into the picture is Brody Falker in the 42. Meanwhile, the 73 of Jake Nichols has actually cracked the top 30, so still slowly but surely making his way through the field.
Yeah, so here's the problem I would pose, Connor, is we're a quarter of the way through this race. No yellows yet. If this race were to go green, how in trouble is Jake Nichols?
It's going to be tough, but we've got at least 1 pit stop, maybe 2, depending on what the strategy is. His teammate Ballard's in the wall ahead of him, but he's got plenty of time. But how hard is the pass? You're going to be probably only looking at maybe a top 15 at best with how hard it is going to be and how spread out it is. If he gets to a top 15, he's about 5 seconds behind 15th position. This race has gotten very spread out, so he really needs a yellow to reset, because otherwise it's not going to be the points day he needs. 2 weeks from now, he's got another Road to Pro race, so don't fully know if he's even going to be able to make that race. I think he was fortunate that this session ran long, but he might not be as lucky next week.
Still working on Clayton Montgomery, a couple of playoff drivers there in the back half of the top 30. Going at it as Elwood's now caught up with race leader Travis Beckner on that outside lane. Is Beckner still running on the bottom? Or has he moved up top?
We'll see what his plan is, but it seems like he's still on the bottom in 1 and 2, or at least a lane off of it. Elwood's up high, and Munsell's chasing him there. But I think Beckner will run the line that he wants to run until Elwood gets too close, and then he'll do exactly what he did to Munsell and take it away. Now he runs the top, Elwood goes to the bottom.
Yeah, I think this has been what the 10 has been doing this long run. It's how he got by the 6, as you got playoff battles a few places. You got the 28 and 7. James Scioli is getting up through the field. He almost made contact on Schroeder, but Scioli's now up to 4th. He also had Brandon Bowie and Shane Therian swap positions for the 11th position even further back. The 7 starting to come to the front.
Slowly but surely, and in both races we've been here for the Pro Series, James Scioli has won both of them, so looking to defend his crown here at the presumably Scioli Speedway if he does make it 3 in a row. Not Iowa Speedway, but he knows a thing or two, actually twice, about winning here. Still climbing through, just a spot shy of the podium. Meanwhile, the 2 of Greg Mitchell, the 84 Shane Abbey going at it on the racetrack. This is for 17th as you see Abbey looking low off 2.
Good battle back here, and the entire field, with the exception of Nico Garcia, is still very much in this race on the lead lap, and really only about 3/5 of a lap down or so. I mean, everyone's still pretty tightly packed up, all things considered, for being 46 laps into this race. The track temperature keeping everybody honest with the tire wear, still 120 plus degrees Fahrenheit. Up front, though, Travis Beckner has been a standard up here today. Led all but 2 laps. Alan Elwood's led a couple, or Munsell rather. But 46 laps in, and we've got a long way to go. But when's our pit stops looking likely, Connor? When will we see these drivers hit pit road?
Well, you should be able to make it to 80, so I think majority will try one stop. But if you were going to try a two stop and maybe use the tires to their advantage, you'd probably be coming down in the next 10 laps or so. So we could see a split strategy, but I expect everyone to go to lap 80, but it is a long time on tires. So the drivers falling back on this long run, maybe like the 6 of Munsell, don't be too surprised if they might jump ship and try an extra stop.
Oh, here's a good one. Got Weishart on the bottom. Richard Thomas is for 13th. Lucky number 13 there, as Weishart was the one that actually made the comment about the setup being loose but manageable compared to the Cup car, as he's looking to get around Richard Thomas. And just watch the in-car here.
How's that for being loose? Big correction, and Brad Slaughter Jr. is on pit road.
There it is.
That's the
Looks like a
two-stopper, or two-stopper
Two-stop.
rather, that you mentioned. Yep.
Yeah, that's about when he'd want to do it. So he's always, seems like he's always the earliest to come to pit lane no matter what series it is. So no surprise here, as this is a pretty big battle. Also, looks like Weishart, they're pretty much teammates. They do the same thing all the time as well. So the 8 and 33 are in. Is this battle in mid-pack still very feisty? I think Miller's been trying to pass Bell for 20 laps, maybe more, and it's stacking things up.
How long do you wait for?
Knowing Jeremy, probably not too much longer. Here comes Bowie,
Really?
11th, first playoff driver.
Yeah, he might just be feeling the pressure, Hunter, because he wasn't making up a lot of ground otherwise, so why not try something different? I don't really love this call. Very rarely does pitting more times give you a benefit. Ooh. And for the lead,
here we go.
Elwood from out of nowhere.
Ooh, Beckner driving it on that bottom. Will he lead the lap? He will, but for how much longer, as Elwood now has the outside lane. Beckner going to send it in more on the bottom. Watch the 10 of Elwood, going to try and set him up for a potential crossover. Out the bumper of the 27, and Elwood's going to give him a little tap before going in the 3.
He wants to right rear.
Ooh, almost had it too. Beckner will hang on for the moment. Let's go back and see how they got like this, and this was down the backstretch into turn 3 about a lap and a half ago. Here comes the 10 and just a big lunge down the inside, and slide job on the 27, and Travis took it right back.
Yeah, it's good awareness by Beckner. I think he saw the move coming and countered it pretty well. Don't know what else Elwood can do. That was really his first chance to get by him, as we'll see how long this lasts, as getting pretty tight for that 16th position right now, as now they're getting by Greg Mitchell. Really tight. It's really tight racing for a track that's pretty wide. Greg Mitchell's coming down, and Rabel. This is a lot more people than I thought would even try this, honestly. Get pit entry. Look out.
I don't know about that, guys.
I did the math earlier, Hunter, and my math said it was like a couple seconds, maybe more slower. So I get one fresh rubber. I just don't think this is the fastest route.
It is an interesting route, but the only way I can see is working in the end is if this goes caution-free. These guys pit with, 30 or 40 to go, maximize their tires. They have that fresh set at the end that they can use to run up through the field, but I'm not sure how much that's going to prevail if we have a caution that could turn this race upside down.
Even without one, I mean, the fall-off isn't insignificant. It's 1.7, 1.8 seconds over the course of the run so far, but I still don't think that this race isn't that long. So I don't really know. Like, generally, the places where the multiple stops can work for you is tracks that are really big and really flat and have a lot of laps, because you have so much time to make up. It's not necessarily, how many laps are in the race, because it won't work at Bristol. You need a lot of time, and that requires a big track like Fontana next week. Great example of a place where I would not mind an extra pit stop. And you need an abrasive, flat, big racetrack, and this is 2 of those 3 things, but I don't know that it's the best strategy for this night. But we'll see how it pans out. A long way to go.
Yeah, we still had a decent amount that have taken this, but the issue with pitting at extra time, because you got this deal. We're 4 wide down the back straightaway at Iowa, and it's going to work somehow, as Bowie's trying to make time on new tires, while Jake Nichols is trying to just get through all these guys on the long run to get extra spots.
Chaos mode has ensued at Iowa, as guys have made pit stops, and most have not, but there you see the 32 and the 23, actually 23 and 33. They're both working their way through the cars now as they're going to be side by side. They're both a lap down, but it's like they're on easy mode, Kyle.
Yeah, you feel like Superman before Mr. Fieldgood's on the car, but it's a temporary high for the time being. You see the drivers that have pit on the left. The majority of the top, well, really, everyone down to 30th has not yet pit. Everyone from 31st on back, about a half a dozen cars, have.
Since we last looked at the battle, Travis Beckner has started to pull away after Elwood had a charge. It's now 0.8 of a second to lead. And Scioli's closing, but he's not close enough to battle for second, as Nichols is. It seems like he really saved well long run, because even with everyone pitting, he is starting to drive past a lot of drivers who have been putting good times down. He just finally someone got in the middle of this Miller versus Bell fight, and Jake is just going to pass both of them soon enough.
It's almost good that he started in the back and worked his way towards the front, running 15th right now, because you have a feel for what your car is like in dirty air, how it handles, how it navigates through the center of the turn. Meanwhile, say you're Travis Beckner, and he is fast, don't get me wrong, but once you get stuck in dirty air, for some guys, it's like a, I don't know the words to describe it, but it's like a flip switches, and some guys struggle in dirty air, some guys prevail, and Jake Nichols, will see if he can work his way inside the top 10. This could be something to keep an eye on as the race goes on.
Under 100 laps to go now, so we're nearing halfway, about 20 laps from this moment. And still green as far as things have gone so far. 2 leaders, only 1 lead change technically. 61 green flag laps, no cautions. The fastest lap was run by John Furness, and here comes Scioli for second on Elwood.
Another one just like the 73, seems a very fast long run, dropped back to about 8th early on, but is starting to charge up. 1.1 seconds behind Beckner, who has moved up even higher in turns 1 and 2 than I've ever seen ran at this track because of those bumps. But he's making it work, starting to pull away, but Scioli is probably going to be his best challenger if he can get by the 10 on the bottom line.
The power of Creed has taken Beckner higher throughout the racetrack, as they're still duking it out for second, just about a second behind race leader Travis Beckner. There you see Scioli on the bottom, Elwood on the outside. Again, Scioli's won 2 for 2 here in Pro Series races, looking to make it 3 in a row. As even behind them, they're still going at it as Munsell and Furness fight for 4th. You see the 8 of Brad Slaughter with the fresh set of tires going to work.
And they would pit again around lap 100. Whoa, they're 3 wide up there with Scioli in the center and the 1 of Steve Durham on the bottom. But Beckner's getting away, and they're about 15 laps from being able to pit, cut this race in half, and be done on pit road. I like the idea of minimizing it tonight. A lot of green flag running.
I'm sure he likes the green flag running too, because it hurt him Tuesday.
Yeah, but races are just about who can get to the designated finish point before everybody else. And when you break it all the way down, it's the least amount of time to go the farthest amount of places. And it was for 3 wide again. And so anytime that you're on pit lane, you're spending time not going places. And that's why when you just have a race flag to flag green, I would prefer to pit as few times as possible. Man, this is not an easy situation for Scioli, is it?
Or the 10 either, as Cameron Hearn comes in. Lap 66, that maybe is the first of the one-stoppers. It's going to be close on fuel from that point. But yeah, 7, he's really working over Elwood, and now he's trying to pull, I think, a slide job, but he doesn't really have the room. He almost overran the 8 of Slaughter, but he does slide up in front of Elwood. I don't think Elwood really can fight this off. Once he gets by, I think Scioli should be taking off towards the 27 of Beckner.
You see Elwood just managing his tires there, as that was almost an incident between him, the 7 of Scioli, and the 8 of Slaughter. It was almost as tough for Slaughter to not get into a playoff contender and for a position as high as second on the track, as we're once again 3 wide down the back.
Yeah, it's been a lot of 2 drivers that haven't pit and 1 driver that has that have been 3 wide so far in this race. It's Greg Mitchell is going to sneak through. There's Thomas and Shane Therian, who's still a playoff competitor in that number 9, and hasn't made a big splash in this race, Connor. And things are changing here because of the scenarios in pit road. But the 9 doesn't have a lot to play with. Doesn't need a spectacular night, but I'd like better than 9.
Yeah, he came into tonight trying to look above the cut line. He was above the cut line by 11, so that's shrunk as they run. There's a long way to go, but it does not take top 10s to get a championship. You need much, much better. It's almost looked like Beckner and the 8 made contact. In fact, they did make some contact into turn number 1, but did not hurt the 27 too much.
Ooh, a little messy on the backstretch here.
Yeah, it was like big gaggle of cars around where Alex Bell is. There's Jeremy Miller, Ed Robertson, Weaver on the outside, and then Clay Montgomery, another playoff driver on the inside, all battling for positions inside the top 20 as Montgomery looking to make up any ground that he can in the points before heading to Auto Club.
Jake Nichols is up to 11th, so late in this run, he's really made up a lot of ground. And I'd say about a dozen cars have made pit stops, maybe a little less than that. So not all of those positions have been gifted because of pit stops. So he is making ground now. And again, in checking back in, he's back above the cut line by 15. That's just how much he can swing things with his own results tonight, Connor. So he's doing well, but again, he's given up some points based on his poor qualifying effort. Big slide for, that was Shane Abbey in the leaving turn 2 there.
84, yeah. Did a big slide, and then Beckner lost maybe half of his lead after the contact with the 8. Still 0.6 of a second as they're all sliding off the corners at this point, but the traffic getting in front of them, the guys who've already pit, their tires are falling off a little bit to the point where they're putting dirty air on the 27's nose for longer. 7's having the same issue, but it seems like it's hurt Beckner a lot more once they go to pass the 27.
All moving pieces throughout the race as guys are getting closer to that halfway point and seeing a lot of guys coming in. Someone just pitted inside the top 10.
Yeah, Mason Kane on pit road, and he will make his stop. And I'm sure Beckner is screaming for tires. I'm sure everybody would like them, but you have to maintain your discipline here. If you come in early, you're going to have to run those extra laps on the tail end of the next run. This is getting very wild down the backstretch here between the 61, 64, and others.
Yeah, Beckner hit the wall a little bit out of 4 as well, so that gap even decreases further as this is crazy because it's been crazy like this the entire run, and it has not died down since the drop of the green flag.
No, and especially in the mid-pack around where Alex Bell is. These guys are going at it. Every spot on the track matters to those guys. Look at that. I mean, you got Abbey on the outside, and then you got Clay Montgomery looking to make it 3 wide, or trying to, run in the middle. He's going to work his way all the way down to the bottom. Bronson Stafford's in the mix as well. Good
like
battles going on throughout the track.
Caution would be very convenient for those that haven't pit yet, but you've gone 76 laps without one. But this group seems like they're trying to draw one, the 15, the 84, the 45, and the 61, all in various strategies and things. It's 3 laps to halfway.
There's a battle for 8th brewing too. James Scioli, Jake Nichols, he's 10 seconds behind the leader without a yellow, likely won't battle for the win, but he is rolling right now in this long run, passing Shane Theria. This is a heck of a climb so far.
Whew. Great battle here. I mean, these guys won't get off each other.
It has been busy back here. There's 95 for Spencer Brown, who's 4 laps down, repairing some damage after some contact and a collision with the wall earlier in the race. That was lap 23. He's been over 50 laps since then. How time flies. And for the lead, Scioli's getting close. If I'm Travis Beckner, Connor, I can't stay out here indefinitely because that 7 is getting pretty close, but halfway's next time by, or 2 laps.
Munsel's in.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Munsell from 5th is in. He was close enough to where maybe he could jump those 2. So now everyone around that 6 is going to start thinking about going into pit. These 2 are going to stay out at least 1 more lap. Looks like the 10 of Elwood will as well. Furness is on the bottom. He's going to come down and try to undercut, maybe get some track position. Tough pit entry. You got to slide and drift in, but he is in cleanly.
That's what costed Connor Urashak. That was Kansas, though. That was different. Yeah, but Monday night we saw someone almost at the tires.
I think it was Jeremy. It looks up. They're on the bottom. Looks like leaders are on the bottom. They're going to come down. By the way, I heard Urashak. Oh no, Skyler's going to stay out. But Connor Urashak won his Road to Pro split tonight.
Road to Plow.
Road to Plow. Road to Plow.
Halfway through 160 laps, Travis Beckner led almost all of those laps. It'll be very difficult for anyone. Actually, I think it's impossible for anyone other than, I believe, Alan Nope, sorry, that's the 6 of Munsell. If Justin Munsell led, no, there was someone else that led some laps. But whoa, look at this. This is tight.
Wow. Yeah. Still got old tires mixing with new tires. Oh, Richard Thomas. Richard Thomas is sliding in turn number 3. This is going to bring out the caution.
Caution out, and that is big news. Half the field on pit lane, half the field not. Wow.
And Travis Beckner is going to need a wave around, as well as many others. That was horribly timed for some. Great for others who stayed out still.
Dioli included.
Even Jake Nichols as well, running up to 3rd.
Yeah, that changes his race completely as well. That is, you're right, Hunter.
What happened? I got to go back a little further to catch the beginnings of it here. But you were talking about mixing tires. 61 was on freshies. The 37 was on. Ooh, not even. What? That was weird.
That's just was very weird. I will say that.
He was in the wall.
It's an Elwood Designs Esports car. No other playoff drivers on that team left. Just got away from it.
Yeah.
Ryan Nowicki is race control, by the way. He just put, as a recap of that wreck, number 37 pulled a Ryan Nowicki.
Wow.
In case no one watched Tuesday night,
Wow.
Nowicki
He is still
run.
he's still hard on himself over that.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, at least he can crack a joke about it, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess.
Skyley's on pit lane, and he'll drag the rest of those that have not yet pit, and this is going to mix this race up from here on out. We'll split this race in half, and let's see what happens from here now.
Look who else benefited in the top 10. Look at Clayton Montgomery. The yellow flew when he was at 6th. This could be very big for him, but he needs to maintain this track position.
Well, lots left to decide. We'll update you on the points picture as well as the running order right after the pit stop sequence here. Of course, we just got to look at our SimWrap Market replay, watching the 37 go for a slide. Race fans, head over to simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple and easy to use, so it keeps you more focused on the racetrack. That's simwrapmarket.com. All right, cars are on and off of pit lane, and on the left-hand side of the screen, here is your situation. Let's pull up the stint length as well. Let everyone know who has recently pit and who's going to try to take the wave around. Richard Thomas, 84 laps on his tires.
Yeah, it was a matter of time until we saw someone slide him out of a corner. This is really going to change the field. Travis Beckner's shown down in 32nd position.
Oh, gosh.
It flips the race big time for him, and he's someone who will likely lead the most laps. As a matter of fact, I think he will, but bonus points aren't going to matter if you finish 30th, so he's got a lot of work to do.
A long way to go and a short time to get there. It'll
And
be a
Matt
big
Bell in
challenge.
shaped area. Excuse me. They got bit for it too, Hunter.
He will lead the most laps, though. He's got that because he's led 79, and now Scioli has led a couple, and there was one other driver that led some. Who was that? That was, well, a couple drivers have led some. Elwood has 2 on the board, what this shows. So what that means is that no one can lead 79. It's, now that Scioli's led a couple, and Elwood is the only other to have some on the board. So that's 1 point in his favor, Connor, but I think he would trade it all back to have that lead.
Yeah, I think he would rather wish he had the lead as well and go on to win this race. You would not even have to worry about what could happen at Auto Club, and we'll see if he can maybe finish a deal now with track position on this coming restart, as always got the extra pace lap at Iowa to really settle things down. Should be 2 to green, but you could see the amount of fast cars having to take a wave round. It includes you go from Cameron Hearn in 22nd, and that line goes all the way back to Jeremy Miller in 35th. That's 14 cars taking a wave.
Yeah, from right here, we'll let you know when Miller goes by. All the way to here. Those are your wave around cars.
And you know who's in the middle of all this, where it's like, oh, it's not bad, but it's not great? It's the guys who stopped very early, like Brandon Bowie, for example. They don't get the track position, but they also don't have to take a wave and start tail end. So Bowie's probably like, this is fine. It could have been better, but I think he'll be okay with it because I don't think that was the right strategy.
120 degrees on the racetrack, probably about 500 degrees in the helmet right now for Travis Beckner. He's got a lot of work to do, but we're really going to see the pace that he's got, I think, Connor, in the next really 70 laps or so, because I think he knows that he's one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, and to not have the top spot to show it would be a shame. And also remember, what's at stake if you win this race? You go to Chicagoland without having to worry about next week at Fontana.
Yeah, so it is a big deal, but he's going to have 70 laps, just over 70 laps, 73 laps as a matter of fact. That works for Jake Nichols if you're superstitious, but yeah, he's going to have a lot of work to do, a lot of cars to get through. We saw how long it took Jake Nichols to get through on even tires. Beckner's tires are pretty much brand new, but it's going to be tough to get through there in a short amount of time.
I don't know if racers are superstitious, but I can tell you and confirm that Indianapolis has no 13th pit stall. Take with that what you will. Lap 88 is the restart here. About 30 minutes of racing remaining. James Scioli gets promoted to the lead, and we're back underway in Iowa.
3 wide. Slaughter took him 3. Jordan Martin in the middle. Keeps it straight. Now, this is important to see what Clayton Montgomery can do in the top 5. Needs this to stand, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle to keep it with Alex Bell diving 3 wide to the bottom.
Going to get split 3 deep. Senesac there on the outside, trying to get a big enough run to get around the 45. That outside lane, getting all the momentum and all the push that it needs into turn 1. Montgomery fighting to stay inside the top 5. Meanwhile, they're almost 3 wide in the back.
Oh, they're almost crashing in the back. Gosh, Bronson Stafford, Jeremy Miller made contact right on the outside of Matthew Bell. Look at it, all 3 weeks, all 3 races this week, these restarts are frantic.
Yeah, because everyone realizes how hard it is to make up spots after you get 10, 20, 30 laps under your belt. So this is the first time in a while that drivers have had the ability to just get an easy pass by sending it into the corner. But with that comes some risks and some responsibilities as we work our way towards 70 laps to go this time through. Here's Bowie in a line in the background behind this group. 3 wide.
Also fresh tires, trying to get back to where he was running. Very tight 3 wide. Anna Sogak not on the way top of the racetrack, but they make it work with Ed Robertson in the middle. Jordan Martin's going to try to stay on the top 3 wide and get in that battle.
Boy, look at these guys coming off turn 2. Some of these guys are going to be flirting with the wall. I was
Wow.
Ryan Swan.
Swan
almost tagged the wall back there.
It is still very busy. I can't imagine that we will go caution-free to the rest of this race. Here's Elwood on the back of Scioli for the top spot.
Oh, and he's been so close to leading all night long, but he just hasn't been able to rip it away from either driver, whether it's the 27 or the 7. Just can't complete the pass so hard to make it work on the bottom on the short run especially.
This is a good throwback to Season 3 if you're a OG area watcher. Scioli, Elwood, these guys were battling week in and week out in the Pro Series, and they resumed their battle tonight at Iowa and trying to drive away from Senesac, who's looking to take 3rd away from Jake Nichols. And he did. Wow.
This has flipped this race upside down. Where is Travis Beckner, you ask? Up to 22nd, carving his way through the field here. We'll see how far he can make it, but I would think that it would benefit Travis to have a couple yellows from here to the end of the race to get tires and re-engage the battle. Connor, you've known from driving from the back that you just burn your stuff up so hard driving from the rear.
You got dirty air, plus you're trying to work really hard around people.
Trouble back straight away. Eugenio Alonso and engine gone.
No yellow. Stay green through all that. Oh, Beckner just got put in the wall by Garrett Grant live. As Alonso spun on his own, it looked like.
Yeah, I wanted to jump back live to that.
Oh, that was close. You're not going to get room from everyone either. You got to be aware of that. That could have been much worse. As him and Furness are trying to get through at the same time, that kind of makes it even tougher. You got, like we're talking about, you got maybe not the freshest tires, hitting the wall harder that time. Plus, you got to battle people. Plus, you're just angry. It wears the tires out much quicker with that combination.
Pick your battles, Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, Furness was down there already looking to make it 3 wide. I'm pretty sure Garrett Grant knew of that and just going to mind his business on the outside. And didn't think Beckner would try to make it 4 wide and find a lane there, but desperate times call for desperate measures when you're Travis Beckner. And as good of a race as you're running, almost led half the race so far. Actually led over half the completed laps, but yeah, still trying to find his way through inside the top 10. Still can't get around Garrett Grant.
My eye in this battle here. I think Travis he laid a bumper to the 5 after that issue out of turn 4. Just feeling like You know, as playoff driver, Connor, do you expect a little more room, or do you just have to assume you're not going to be given it in the heat of battle here?
I think it's kind of a little bit of both. I think you expect them to be a little bit more courteous, as there is more contact there, but at the same time, it is a race. So I think you do have to race everyone and go into battle assuming that you are going to get raced hard. As you know, we get told, race control tells everyone every series that to be courteous and be aware of the playoff drivers, but I don't think it matters much. I think you get raced just as hard regardless, maybe even harder. So you got to be going into battle thinking you are going to get the heck raced out of you.
Grant will race Travis Beckner different than the rest of the playoff drivers for the rest of the race from what I can see. Beckner's been leaning, and now he's to the inside again.
And through all this, we didn't even notice Alan Elwood's taking the race lead, and Bryce Senesac is battling James Scioli for second. So Scioli's going backwards.
Some places just draw your eye and allow others to sneak on through. I would not be very good as bank security now, would I? But up down the back straightaway, Alan Elwood leads the way. His first laps of the night. Look at Brandon Bowie way up on the outside here with Brad Slaughter as Senesac clears Scioli for second place.
So I think this is tire saving from the 7, but I don't think you want to lose too much track position. He does have a big gap to Jake Nichols, who's doing the same thing. We're starting to see some drivers shuffle back to where they were running. Clayton Montgomery's down to 10th after restarting in the 5th position. He needs those top 5s. It just doesn't seem like he has the pace to hold on, as Brett Slaughter, his strategy's worked out for him. He's up to 5th, Brody Falliker 7th, Shane Abbey, and then Weishart, and then the aforementioned Montgomery in the top 10.
Still duking it out for the lead is the 10 of Elwood and the 09 of Bryce Senesac, as he's trying to make that second lane work, and has got him all the way up to second. Hasn't won a race yet in the Pro Series, but tonight could be the night with the way this race has been flip-flopped. We could see the 09 drive around the 10 and scoot his way into victory lane.
It's amazing how one timely caution can flip this race on its head. I thought we knew who was going to win this race based on the first 10 laps, and now I have no idea.
This is what happens when it happens, NASCAR. You just throw the yellows when you need to throw the yellows.
Yep.
As it has shuffled the points a lot. Beckner, he's looking for a win. It was in yellow. Now running 20th, 11 below the cut line. So he needs to get back up there to be not in a bad situation. Auto Club, as Senesac got to the right rear of Elwood. He's looking for the race lead. This is a great run for the 09 right now.
So didn't even take into consideration, he got eliminated last week at Kansas. Imagine if he made it on and was in this opportunity. I couldn't even think about how the points would have been.
Sorry to I keep cutting y'all off, but 14th on back. This is a hornet's nest. Yeah, I think you saw what I saw.
I was looking at the timing screen and saw thousandths between cars and not seconds, and this is what you get.
And you got two very high speed playoff drivers who are running top 5 at the very back of that.
Travis is still behind Garrett Grant.
And now he's got Furness on his right rear looking 3 wide. Both of them, they can't get by Garrett Grant. There's nowhere to go. They're going to maybe door at turn number 2. Grant gives them all the squeeze.
Boy, Beckner is in rush hour traffic, and he's got nowhere to go except into the bumper of the 5 if he chooses to, but still trying to buy his time, but his progress has stunted around the 21st position.
We'll watch that 5 driving in hard on the bottom. And Travis knows as well as we do that the laps are running down now, 55 laps to go. And without cautions, his race is already highly compromised. So it is go time, and he's going to have to start making headway in this, bumper or not.
As is John Furness, because he was looking at a good point spot. Now he's also below the cut line in the same situation. They both have to really get going. You'd almost think, I'm shocked they ran side by side for so long. Laconis and Ballard are dooring. You would think they would want to work together maybe to get through, but maybe you don't have time to work together when they're dooring each other. That might have been intentional contact on the inside of the 50.
Patience running thin here, Hunter.
You got Ballard, and then you got Laconis and Ryan Swan 3 wide in front of the rest of these guys. And there goes Laconis spinning on the front stretch.
Stay green.
For now, looks like he's going to keep it straight.
What it is about this track, but the caution sensitivity has always been pretty low. But he gets kind of slammed by Ryan Swan there across the nose of the 21, and that's what sent him for a slide. And unfortunately for him, he will have to just get back rolling without any assistance from the caution flag or caution sequence.
Yeah, this is it really stacked things up as well. It's one less car for these guys in the pack to worry about. John Furness is taking the lane a little bit higher than everyone else. He's trying to get the Jordan Martins outside now. We still got a ways to go to get to the front of this battle, which is still Ballard and Swan.
Oh, that's not looking good. The 18 of Fambro is sending it in there. They're four wide coming out turn 4. Ryan Swan had the lift, and it possibly saved the playoffs for the 28 of Furness.
Oh, don't speak too soon. Oh, looked like the 38 now backed out. This has worked well for Furness because he's now ahead of the 27. Beckner has not been able to get through as well as Furness.
This car was a rocket ship out front, but in traffic, he has been towing a trailer of concrete blocks. He just is not going anywhere.
Yeah, this is going to be tough to handle. Munsell is in the same situation. Not a playoff driver, but running top 5. Pit at the worst time. Now he's in a pickle. Bryce Senesac has started the fade from 2nd. He's been getting passed all the way on the right side. He's almost back to 6th. Brandon Bowie might climb into a top 5. This has been a good change for him after the yellow because now he's inside that cut line by a decent gap.
Which one do you pick, Jake Nichols?
That was me.
Dang it.
My hands up in the air.
Gosh, why you guys just
Matthew Bell.
got that golden horseshoe stuck up your butt.
My pick's like 25th.
It's the Jake Nichols challenge. He didn't get a qualifying time and start all the way back in 36th. Then caution managed to fly at the right time. He was running in 3rd and running in 3rd again, but this time with fresh tires that can contend for the lead with guys like Alan Elwood, James Skyley. Meanwhile, back here, Travis Beckner was contending for the lead. And I did mention earlier how it seemed like Travis Beckner would struggle a little bit with dirty air. It seemed like he would with how far up he was running. He led 79 laps before that caution came out and flipped his race. Whoa! They're touching in front of him. Almost flipped the race upside down in front of him just then.
It's Fambro and Ballard bouncing off each other's door. And for the lead, James Scioli goes by Elwood in a blink of an eye. He's through.
I think he stopped saving. I think he knows it's time to go because that 73.
Gallagher. My gosh, him and Bowie were almost sideways for 5th on the track.
Oh, Beckner and Munsell almost made contact as well. But,
Jake Nichols dropping off the timing screen.
Oh, his quality is low.
We've not seen that often.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
We've not seen that often for Jake Nichols, so that is a bit surprising.
No.
But
Not done yet.
It's sorting itself out.
Hopefully. Back to the bottom here for the race lead. I can't believe we haven't had a caution stem from that 15th on back battle. They have just been tooth and nail this entire second half of this race. 45 laps to go, and time is counting down, and there's still battles everywhere on the racetrack.
A battle for 8th. It's Weishart and Shane Abbey. You got John Furness. He's still trying to climb through the field. He's back up into the 12th position, so this has been a great climb late for him after getting through that big pack of cars, which is finally dissipating a little bit, but he's been able to get through it, and Travis Beckner still have to make 3 wide moves. He is stuck in this 18th position.
Trying to use that outside lane and gather every bit of momentum he can, but he's in the wall there. That's the problem with doing that, and especially when you're in a situation where you have to send it a little bit more, drive in a little bit harder. So you see on board the 6th of Munsell, just nowhere to go for these guys as almost everyone's on the outside lane.
Shifting and shuffling here, trying different lines. Track temp's as hot as it's been all day, 124 degrees Fahrenheit. And again, everyone's done pitting unless we get a caution flag. You're not going to come back down to pit road. So you're just going to have to deal with it to the end and back to the front because these two are absolutely nip and tuck. Eye for an eye up here, and here comes the 10 down to the bottom.
Elwood, I think, wants it back. I think he got way too cautious in the lead trying to save tires, gave it back. So now he's trying to fight back for it. This is going to be much more difficult than the pass earlier was.
It's a shallow line down into 1.
Trying to send it in on the bottom of that outside lane. It's just the lane to be in for almost the entire run.
By the way, I said that pack was sorting itself out. I think it's reconverging on itself.
There's some physical laws about entropy that I don't think are being followed back there, 15th on back. It's supposed to only get more chaotic, not less.
Certainly not. Certainly doing that right now as This battle is going to probably be hot for the next 20-ish laps, maybe more, depends on how Elwood can keep his stuff on it. He's not running a different line, notably, from Scioli. He's just running in his tire tracks, maybe trying to get air on the spoiler, get him loosened up, maybe wear the 7's tires out more than he wants to, and using that to the 10's advantage, maybe. But maybe Scioli notices that, and then he goes up a lane higher to maybe get the 10 off his rear bumper to not have that happen.
Well, they can keep doing that. It just means that the 73 would close in bit by bit. He's still running that outside lane. Even the guys behind him, Slaughter and Falker, going at it for fourth, just outside the podium paying positions. As that still battles galore. Bowie's falling back a little bit. Weinsart on the climb up for sixth on the track. Senesac on the climb downwards as Stafford looks to the... Actually, no, that's Shane Abbey.
Yeah, Shane Abbey. The
Well, that is Stafford, but
It is Stafford,
he lapped
lap down.
Yeah. And
Good speed.
Here comes Allen to the bottom, and I think James might be just saving some tire back here too. We know how good he is at the long run pace. These two are battling hard. He sees this. No point in being in the battle yet. We've got a long way to go still, just under 40 laps. Let these guys burn off their Goodyears, and I'll have a look at them later.
That's Jake in third, not James.
Oh, sorry.
But yes, he is, I think, just watching him race.
You
it
knew
looks
what I was
like
saying.
Yeah, I do. The internet connection, I knock on wood, and I have wood next to me, thank you. It's okay for now, but like you said, it might have been maybe a storm rolling through. Don't know, because that's very rare of him for that to happen to him. And Scioli's definitely having to use his stuff a little bit more than he wants to because of Elwood battling him here. Nichols 9/10 of a second back, closing in on about 36 laps to go. So, yes, he's got to start going soon to make sure he can be in this battle by the end.
Elwood's still setting it on the bottom. 7 of Scioli still running that outside lane. Almost got it there, Elwood did, but to no avail. The 7 will continue to lead a lap, and yeah, Elwood's been making that bottom work as you see Bowie passing Senesac. Actually, Senesac trying to stay ahead of Bowie for 7.
And you were right about Beckner. The dirty air has just not been his friend. He is still in 17th, and Justin Munzel's on his outside. They made contact. They've been racing hard for this position. Might be part why Beckner isn't able to fly through the field. And they did have contact earlier, but it seemed incidental. But still side by side for the lead, the more important battle.
Yeah, you can't really pull your eyes off these two. Who knows when Elwood will manage to clear the 7. Big slide by the 7 out of turn 2. This is Elwood's opportunity here if he can launch it down into 3, and he will do just that.
We'll see if he can. The Scioli doesn't move. Beckner did earlier. He will crossover move, but not as good of a run as the 27 did. I think Elwood learned not to fire it in too hard, and he's going to lead that lap, and he could get the lead. I think it's going to be tough for Scioli to make this work on the bottom after Vatan got by him, and he also got Bronson Stafford. Supposedly, he is on fresher tires, trying to get through these guys to at least get back to 1 down, so it could split this battle up.
Been over a full calendar year since Elwood last ran in the victory lane. Meanwhile, still going at it. It's Fambro and Delonte Ballot, but behind them, Beckner and Munsell still got a thing going on with Jordan Martin in the middle of it. There's 5 of Garrett Grant still there. Boy, this is just tight racing all throughout the back half of the top 10 and top 15.
Wow, Ballard
he's firing
chasing
it in.
Fambro up the hill. That was dicey.
Well, they're going to be maybe through right off the corner. Munsell's gotten by Beckner. Now Garrett Grant's creeping back into this picture. This is a nightmare because it was going his way for the tale of 2 halves for the 27, really.
Absolutely a worse nightmare for the 27. Absolutely. And back to the lead. A racy racetrack tonight, huh?
Yeah, sure. The caution's out.
Oh.
And it is
Casey Lakatos.
another spin. And that changes things. That probably helps Beckner big time, but there's not going to be much strategy.
No, it helps him a bunch, I think. He was loose before he even got to the corner, chased it all the way through 3 and 4, and around it went.
I'm sure people wish it went green if Spencer Brown had not been behind him. Well, Bronson Stafford was close. That probably would have been a yellow anyways, but like you said, it just got loose before he even entered the corner, and obviously the spin, the tires are going to be in a much worse state. Hard to save it once you spin and then get sideways again.
All right, pit stops for everybody, I'm sure.
I can't imagine we see 2 tires. Tried that earlier as well. Got way too loose. If you think it's going to be a caution fest to the end, maybe you try it, but I'd be shocked.
30 laps of Caution Fest? I don't think so. Maybe 10 or 15, but these guys have been keeping it pretty clean. I'm going to regret saying that, but
You got long yellows here, so that comes into play as well.
I forgot about that because we only had one. I forgot how long the yellows were. Tuesday they were real long, felt like.
Especially at the end when the suspense kept kicking up.
Yep. So 30 laps to go. Well, it's only 12 minutes of racing. I mean, that's how little we've got left. Well, we've got a moment before we kick back green. Let's take you through some of the partners and people that make it all happen. Race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauce that's made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and watch Jake Matheson take home that $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. It looks like a shoe-in for him this season, Connor.
It most certainly is. Says he's going to join me as a winner as that. So very illustrious.
What'd you spend your $100 on?
I couldn't tell you. I spent it on. I remember I spent it on something racing related. As a matter of fact, I think I spent it on like a quick release thing. It's like because the Thrustmaster wheel is not really quick release, but there's a piece of plastic. Well, this is part of it because this thing wasn't $100, but it's just basically a piece of plastic that keeps the wheelbase intact, so you don't need to unscrew the Thrustmaster base. So exchanging wheels very easy. So that was a part of it. I think I spent some money on a Kyle Larson diecast from one of his race wins as well, so it was money well spent.
I think I would spend it on a really nice steak. There's a place across the street from me, like right across the road. It's like a restaurant, like a really nice bistro, and it's got steaks that are like $95, and I really want to go because I bet you it's so good. But also justifying $95 on a steak, not so much. So it'll probably go
I
untested.
agree, Kyle. I would spend that money on a good old steak.
Yeah, I don't really go, like when I go to a restaurant, I don't normally get a steak. But the best steak I've ever had, I had in Las Vegas. It was like $75. And God, was it good.
Had a burger there. That was great.
Yeah, dude. When Connor and I, Connor worked with me on a Grid Life event back in 22 in Las Vegas, and we hit the same restaurant up twice because it was so good. Who was that? That was Guy Fieri's restaurant. Flavortown.
It was great.
It was actually really good. Las Vegas in general is a great food city, and though I really dislike the city for a lot of other reasons, I enjoy going. Like I was just there in January for the Indy Autonomous Challenge, and gosh, every night. I mean, I had a burger with, I'm not even a goat cheese person, but I had a burger with goat cheese and fig jam, and God, was it excellent. I'm just in a bar, you know? God, they just know how to do it.
They do it right.
It's a city of entertainment, so if you suck at making food, you won't last.
No, you're there for like a week if you suck. This is... Jacob Bell just put in our broadcast room chat, what did he say? He said he spent an embarrassing amount of food, a room service, embarrassing amount of food from Guy Fieri after work at TwitchCon.
It's just genuinely really good. The only thing,
really good,
the second time we went, they kind of lost my credit card for a little while. I wasn't stoked about that. As 61 gets the free pass there, but genuinely great. The only sad thing is I am not going back to Las Vegas anytime soon. And I wasn't on the Strip for any of my excursions for Indy Autonomous. I was in North Las Vegas. Great breakfast places.
There are a lot of great breakfast places we went to as well.
Oh, that one breakfast place in the, where was that? Was that in the Venetian?
Toastery? Yeah, it was where the...
You remember the name of it?
It was like Famous Toastery or something.
Oh,
I don't think it's exactly specific to Vegas either, but it was still really good.
It was cheap, too.
Yeah,
which is hard
it was
to get
pretty cheap and great.
Anyway,
it is really incredible.
Food talk aside, I'm starving. I got home at 6 o'clock to do a SRO esports race, so I have not eaten dinner yet. But we are just about 25 laps away from me making that a reality. Let's see if Alan Elwood can make his a reality as well. 26 laps left. Green flag, and the 10 leads us back.
That line's pretty close between Furness, Therian, and Bowie as we restart. That will change as we run, but incredibly close, within 3 points each other right now. As Brody Falliker in fourth. Haven't talked about him all night. He's inside the top 5, mixing up with some playoff championship contenders as Mason Kane's loose. Matthew Bell gets back up to 4 wide again.
Oh, 31 sliding.
Uh-oh.
Gets hit from behind, and cars are going to go scattering. We'll keep them all straight, but damage to the rear of the 31.
And it was Chris Raba who piled in, so they'll go to the back as we're still green at the front. Elwood leads, just cold tires, I think. Hunter fired it in too hard. Nowhere. I don't think Chris Rabel even saw it coming, and Matthew Bell almost wrecked with Danny Ware at the same time.
Yeah, a lot of calamity going on here as Bowie nearly hit into the wall, had to drive off it. Just a spot shy of that top 10. Furness inside the top 10 now. Looking for 7th from Slaughter. Meanwhile, it's a fight for 4th between Brody Falliker and David Weishart. Still 3 wide off turn 2 in the back. These guys are going out like it's the last lap. We still got over 20 to go, boys.
They're racing each other to the wall.
Oh, Weishart almost hit Falliker. He did hit Falliker. They made contact. Here comes Furness 3 wide. This is going to work out great for him. And Brandon Bowie.
Boy, meanwhile, up front, Elwood's trying to drive away from James Scally. Like I was saying, a full calendar year since Elwood's last win back in Bristol in Season 3. Took Season 4 off in the Pro Series, limited to 1 series back in Season 4 a handful of months or so ago. But, almost colliding there at Robertson and Jordan Martin. But Elwood's still looking for a victory lane for the first time in Season 5.
What that would mean, wouldn't do him any good as far as the playoffs pictures are concerned, but it would certainly... Oh, crash! 64 of Robertson.
Oh, horrible hit to the inside wall, and even worse, it's not going to be a caution.
That's just terrible for him. And I think he just gets loose, comes across the nose of the 30, and then slams the inside wall. That is a nasty impact.
Yeah, nowhere Miller could go on that, but that 64 is totaled. For sure. He gets it back going somehow.
Nothing Miller could have done there. The 64 just got loose and came across the road. The 6 of Munsel's in the middle, 3 wide. He doesn't like this. And then Beckner, who led half this race, he's had a hard time passing a single car since that caution that ripped him out of the lead, and he's just stuck back here.
And getting impatient, a little bit of a bump to the 6. He's going to look middle off the corner, but not going to be anything going there. God, it takes my breath away how hectic it gets when you get a restart like this. You guys are all over the track. High, low, middle, sometimes 4 wide. They push 5 wide. This is crazy, and we still have 20 laps to go.
Still a handful to go, but yeah, Elwood winning this would shake things up in the point standings. It wouldn't lock in Scioli, wouldn't lock in Jake Nichols either, and even Brandon Bowie and John Furness, guys that are close on that cutoff. Furness is above it. Darian is just hanging on by a thread with Bowie inside the top 5. Not to mention Clayton Montgomery having a solid run as well, but still needs more points, as does Matthew Bell.
Matthew Bell, sorry to cut you off, Kyle, but he has not had a good second half after the crash. After the first caution.
Down at 28th at the moment. You watch this battle just outside the top 10. Senesac, Montgomery. And there's Beckner trying to salvage away what he can. Really needs more positions than he's going to get here. Ideally, he would have been top 3 or win this race like he was plotting and planning to. But look at the big sends now. I don't think he's got enough time to get to the lead, and especially to takes himself out in the process.
You see why Senesac likes that move. They made contact Monday night. Got some hurt feelings after that, but it looks like the 09 will let him go. Here comes Shane Thierry, and he's still trying to recover. He's behind Clayton Montgomery, who's starting to fade here at the end of this race. John Furness has made his way back up to 5th. He's recovered the best out of anyone to get back in the top 5, but he's still behind Brody Falliker. This is I can't say, someone's loose. It's Garrett Grant sideways, but he saved it.
Wow, and even there, the 6 of Munsell looked like he was about to hit the bumper of Beckner going into turn 1, but to no avail as Beckner now looking to the inside of Abbey for that 10th spot. Going to get tight off turn 4 there. He'll tuck in line. Well, Alex Bell trying to hold on to 9th as the battles ensue behind him.
I still think Beckner would be better off with a couple of yellows here to split the field up and give him another opportunity. His aggression is not the shortcoming. It's just the opportunities to use it. And here he comes. He's going to grab 9th here from Bell. And he's still making up ground. But again, the battle for the lead is, I think, a little bit out of reach for the time being. After he got shuffled out, and wow, that was a big move from the 84, huh? Top to bottom.
Not done yet. He's just going to back out. Didn't really end up being well. I think Beckner, he just sent it to not be a part of that. Here comes the crossover, so he's going to still be 3 wide, but much safer on the top, you would think. But here comes the 6 of Munsell trying to still follow him through. Here comes another slide job, Hunter.
Here comes a crossover from Beckner down to the inside of Alex Bell for 9th. Looking to set sail and trying to make up more ground on the field as possible as Justin Munsell still having struggles around that 15. Going to make it 3 wide off turn 2 and down the back.
See if they can make that work. 84 will bounce off the 15, coming to 12 laps to go. Any cautions now would put us in danger of overtime on any subsequent caution. Only 2 so far this race. Allen Elwood leads by half a second.
And it would really limit what you can do strategy-wise because not many laps. Tires, I don't think are going to be that much of a factor like we saw Monday night. We saw David Weishart almost win that race with 60-lap old tires. So it's really going to limit your strategy.
Meanwhile, battle for the lead, not so much of a battle. Half a second separates Elwood and Scioli as these guys continue to do battle right around the 10th spot in a slow car there. Not sure who that was, but almost a big moment in 3 and 4.
That Robertson, maybe?
Very busy here in this battle for about 11th spot. I'm not sure we're out of the woods yet. 10 laps to go, and actually, but Brad Slaughter, he was middle 3 for a second.
Brandon Bowie just behind him.
Oh boy, the 37 and 88 came together.
This run is not going well for Clayton Montgomery back to 15th, but Bowie is starting to fade in the final 10 laps as well. Beckner is next in line to pass him, but Bowie's gone 5th to 8th as John Furness is under Brody Falliker for the 4th position.
Boy, there is, oh my gosh, Jeremy Miller almost lost it off turn 2 there. Great driver control there as he battles Jordan Martin and Matthew Bell, another playoff contender. 24th, that's
37. 37 and 88 are door banging the last lap or so.
Down into turn 1. These guys have been leaning on each other. Delonte Ballard has full view out the windshield. 8 laps to go. We're clicking them down, guys. A caution might bring us to either exactly at scheduled distance or a green-white checkered if we were to get one from here on out.
And you can bet if we get a green-white checkered here, oh man, they're bouncing off each other with the 45 and 4, but we get a green-white checkered, I don't think you're seeing many people pit. Hearn and Montgomery are coming together all of a sudden. Hearn's another one still trying to recover. Shane Therian's just in behind doing the same.
Yeah, he had to swerve off turn 4 and almost missed the wall there, and going to get into Montgomery a little bit. Oh my.
I think there were some hurt feelings over that situation.
Ron Furness has gotten up into 4th. This has helped his playoff fight. He's above the cut line by a lot better of a margin at this point, but it's still nowhere near safe if it stands.
Jordan Martin, oh, they
And
touched. Jordan Martin, Matthew Bell touched in turn 2 there. That was almost calamity as Ed Robertson is just trying to let everyone go by. Well, somewhat off the pace is the 64, but the action still continues throughout Iowa.
No one can take a deep breath till the checkered is out. Crash.
Oh,
37.
Oh, Matthew Bell. Oh, with Jordan Martin.
Jeremy Miller's in
Jeremy
it.
Miller.
And a big
Oh,
crash
my
in turn
gosh.
1, and it takes out a handful. This
Oh,
changes everything.
This puts us in green-white checker situation, Kyle.
Told you. I told you. Here's what's happening.
Hate to be having the team owner hat, but that just sums up Jeremy Miller's season. Somehow getting caught up in this. It starts with Anna Sogak and Richard Thomas. They were banging doors again, and Matthew Bell trying to avoid Hitch Jordan Martin. Nowhere for the 30 or 62, 49 and 1 to go. They all just piled in after the 88 and 37 had a disagreement.
That was ugly.
Yeah, run out of room on corner entry. Worst place to have to avoid a crash.
Oh, 49 got the worst of that, I think.
Yeah, that's that. Bell, and we got strategy live. James Scioli pits live as we look at this crash.
I think that is a good strategy.
And no one came down with him, really. Oh my gosh.
Better get your calculating fingers ready, Connor.
Yeah, I'm trying. That puts maybe Jake Nichols in a driver's seat to maybe try to steal this win, but I'm just shocked because we all saw what happened Monday night on the green-white checkered as Ed Robertson gets a lucky dog. This is gonna kill his points position.
I heard of some dramas coming out of 4. If there was any disagreements here. Here's the 45 and then the 4 Cameron Hearn.
This is after the caution flag. They had been hitting each other a little bit prior. 4 was really the one hitting the 45. because I think he wanted the 45 to move it.
Came hunting for him.
Well, Cameron Hearn's a big hibachi guy, so he might have just been asking the 45 if he likes hibachi and if he wants to go out with him after the race, just trying to smooth things over before Auto Club next week.
If there's anything I know about Cameron Hearn, smooth things over. I don't know if that applies, but hibachi is good. As
I thought there was more to that, but doesn't appear
yeah, it didn't
to.
seem like much.
He was just trying to get his order.
Yeah,
I bet he got that.
that's how Chick-fil-A works.
I gotta look. I don't even know if anyone else inside the top 10
So
came down to pit. Brody Falliker was the only other one inside the top 10 to pit.
All right, so here's your stint length. Anyone with 27 laps or more is stayed out on the racetrack. And the
He's
first
18th.
two, 18th place, 2 laps to go. That was a big blunder, I think.
The good news with his points gap, he's still, as far as they paced, 21 points up, but it should really be much more. Maybe he knew the gap he had and decided to take a shot, but I don't think it's a shot worth taking.
I know this isn't elimination night, and being above the cut line doesn't really mean anything till the end of next week, but Travis Beckner is in 6th place, and look where he is on the cat line. On her right there.
Right there, just as I calculate, and that's 3 drivers, if I have it calculated correctly on a cut line. If this worked, Beckner's staying out. He's 6th, though. It might not be the worst recovery. But, yes, really gonna be a crazy race when we go into Auto Club the way it stands, because if it finishes even close to this, you're gonna have 4 drivers close to that cut line, 2 drivers probably needing a win, and then you got 2 drivers up there in points, but Jake Nichols, he might not be able to make next week. We don't know, so he's not even out of the woods yet here, as we are getting our one and only attempt at a green-white checkered overtime finish with Alan Elwood, like you said, Hunter, still hunting that first win in, what, over a calendar year?
Season 3, back at Bristol, December of 2022. It's been a full calendar year since he won, and he took a season off. He could only do Tuesday nights, so that's why he ran the Truck Series in Season 4 to tend to his newborn son. And he posted on Twitter just I think a couple of weeks ago, missed the area iRacing playoffs season for the first time ever. Worst season I've had league racing. Final chapter of my time. Stepping aside a bit from doing full-time racing, but thankful for the opportunities. Boy, imagine the note that he could go out if he gets one more win. And like I said, been a full calendar year. Hasn't won since Season 3. This could be huge for Alan Elwood in the 10.
Well, he's got 1.6 miles to go. 2 laps. He will restart on the outside with Jake Nichols on the bottom. Everyone back to 17th is on the same tire strategy. Here we go. The Florida State Builders Area Pro Series down to the final 2 laps at Iowa. It's go time. If caution comes out, the race is over. Green flag. Elwood with a fantastic restart.
Slaughter spun him a little bit. They're stacked up at the back, 3 wide.
Crash.
Nichols.
There they go. In the wall. 88 upside down. Caution is out.
There.
Race is over.
The 7 was in that one.
The 43 as well.
He's destroyed. Where's it going to put him? Alan Elwood's the victor. Jake Nichols second. But what a blunder.
Wow. What a risk that didn't pay off for the 7 of James Scioli. I have him currently in 23rd place.
And you can see Slaughter getting up to the bumper of Alan Elwood. Man, if there were any doubts that Elwood had, hey, Alan Elwood, you still got it. You can go out there and you can win races in the area, man.
And Alan Elwood, it's been since 2022, December. In February of 2024, under the safety of the pace car, he will cross the line and win at Iowa Speedway, race 15 of the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. Jake Nichols, Brad Slaughter Jr., John Furness, Travis Beckner, your top 5.
Wild finish. Results are going to be highly unofficial for a little while here. The popular win. He's been so fast and hasn't won in so long, but I mean, we knew he had it. You know, he could it was a matter of time, really. And this played out to perfection. The yellow helped, but he was in contention for this win all race long.
For those that followed Area from the beginning back in 2021, Alan Elwood was one of the founding drivers of this league. He's been here since the ground up, and boy, oh boy, he got the job done, and I'm so proud of the 10 of Elwood. I knew he could still do it. He was so close to doing so at Richmond before today's race. His best finish of the season was in third, but man, what a great win this is for Alan Elwood in the 10.
Burning it down. Celebrating at Iowa Speedway. I'm sure he will be a fun interview in a little while. Let's go back and have a look at the crash that ended this race under caution.
It was a pretty crazy one for sure. Didn't even get to turn one. Didn't even really see what happened, but all I saw was the 88 flying upside down and Scioli getting caught up in it.
Watch the
Get
5,
another look at it.
and it's the 7 that tried to sneak up to the outside of Garrett Grant, and that's what triggers the whole thing.
Yeah. And that, we'll see how it's viewed, but they can give post-race EOLs if they want. But like you said, it did look to me like he went for a gap that was not there. The 9 of Therian was also involved in this. Yeah, gap's kind of there, but it's such a tight squeeze. I just don't think Garrett Grant had time to even react. And Anna Sogak had nothing he could do about it.
Gosh.
How many playoff drivers is this? You got the 7, you got the 9. There's
45.
Clayton Montgomery getting a piece. That's at least half of them.
Matthew Bell, that is half of them. I mean, the 45 had a great view of this. He ends
Jeremy
up
avoided
scored 17th. Here's what Montgomery saw at the windshield. This should be spectacular.
Oh man, he hit someone someone flipping, hit someone in the door, but he got a lot of positions. Oh, and then I think it Ballard. But for the most part, okay.
Well,
and
here's a look, guys. Take a deep breath after that one. Alan Elwood wins for the first time in a year and 2 months. Jake Nichols, Brad Slaughter Jr. snags a third out of that. John Furness, Travis Beckner, 4th and 5th, Connor.
yeah, so big recovery after all that. Beckner does get back to the top 5, as we did get a confirmed EOL for James Scioli, so that result will be even further back to 23rd. But some playoff drivers who needed solid runs, like Nichols, in case he can't make Auto Club in 2 weeks' time. Beckner needed it. It could have been a win, though, as he only gets 5th. But Brandon Bowie in 9th, that goes a long way as well.
Yeah, what a race, what a finish, and some of these guys wrecked hard at the very end. Alex Bell coming through just a smidge shy of that top 10. Shane Abbey, Garrett Grant, Greg Mitchell, Cameron Hearn, all guys inside the top 15. And Therian, Montgomery, playoff drivers involved in that big wreck on the final restart. Swan, Durham, and Stafford round out the top 20.
And down the rest of the order here, Jimmy Miller got caught up in a crash there towards the end. James Scioli, man, what a strategy mistake that was coming to pit lane. Matthew Bell down in 24th. That will not be a very good round. That will likely put him in must-win territory. There's the rest of your running order here at Iowa Speedway. Let's talk with our third-place finisher. That was Brad Slaughter. Ends up 3rd in this race after starting back in 11th. And I have you down as low as 37th in this one, Brad, but you came back, snagged a 3rd in a chaotic overtime result. Take us through your night in that number 8. Looked like you had a busy evening.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I really nothing to lose here in the Pro Series, so I sometimes try a little different strategy. I came down short pitted there, I think like 49 or so, just to be different. And I think I drew a couple guys down, and I think it was going to be okay. Obviously, I had a little contact with Beckner when I was getting by him. He gave me a little shot and cost me about 2 seconds to the other guys that were on that strategy. So. I still held those guys off. Then obviously we had the yellow, and just kind of tried to get back on cycle with everybody. I think it pretty much evened out. It just kind of cost me a set of tires, which didn't really end up mattering. So overall, I mean, it was a fun race, good setup. Setup was interesting. I couldn't save a right front. Everybody else was doing a way better job of saving than I was, but I was just kind of cooking it. But it was a fun race overall. I want to shout out DWR. Had some good runs for the guys tonight. Had Jake and David, Bryce, everybody up there running up front, and James as well. James was running real good tonight. So just overall, real fun night, and we'll get on to Auto Club.
Brad Slaughter, 3rd place tonight in the number 8 Lumar Toyota. Brad, thanks for talking.
Thank you, guys.
Second place is Jake Nichols, and Hunter Sleppy picked you right from the drop of the green flag. You were started it back in 36th. I thought that was a little brave, especially considering how green this race went. For the first half of the race, all of a sudden, caution comes out and everything changes, Jake. You finished second, put yourself in a great spot to qualify through to the last round at Chicagoland Speedway. How'd your night go?
Interesting. We went almost caution-free in Road to Pro, and it gave me a shot because I guess we got the green a little later than usual here, and I thought I was going to be like 20 laps down. I was aiming toward that, and I joined the Discord here, and everyone's like, "Oh, we're just qualifying." I'm like, "Oh, all right, we got a shot at something then." And you know, it was hard to gain track position early. I felt like everyone was driving pretty hard, and I was really tight back in traffic, so I was just trying to take it easy, and our long run pace was so good, especially that first run. I think we could have naturally finished around 8th to 5th maybe. Like it just would have depended on how everyone's pace was the second run. But I mean, we'll take a lucky yellow. We got a really good points gap going into next week. I don't know what I'll do next week now. This kind of changes it since we do have a gap. Do I go for Road to Pro and try to show up here a few laps late? Who knows? I guess we'll see. But either way, thanks to Matco Tools, 609 Motorsports, and David Weishart Racing. I mean, it drove great tonight. I wish we could have had I don't know if I could have got Alan. He was really fast there at the end. So it seemed like he started evening out with us, but would it have been enough for me to really do anything with him? I don't know. But he ran a great pace, and with James, it's unfortunate that his night did not end very well for his points. But we had a great team night overall, and obviously great position going into the last race of the playoffs before the finale here.
Jake Nichols, second place tonight, the number 73. Appreciate your time, Jake. Congratulations, and good luck to you next week at Fontana.
Thank you, guys. See you then.
Thank you. And Alan Elwood, man, it's been a long time. 14 months, Alan, and you finally snag another one here in the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. And man, that caution at the end, that was your saving grace there. That absolutely helped, although you had speed, pace, and were up front for all the entire night, basically. But the caution flew kind of a weird time around halfway, and from there, you were one of the drivers to beat. Congratulations, and welcome back to Victory Lane.
Thank you, Kyle. I was telling the guys in the waiting room, I don't know why I wanted to cry, but it's been so long since I've had success in any of the oval stuff. You know, I went to trucks last season, and that went kind of okay. You know, had the kid on my mind and stuff, so a little bit of distraction. And then this season, coming back to something I thought I knew, and it's been a struggle to say the least. You know, some of my own issues, but then caught up in others. But that's how it goes in racing. But I'm kind of speechless. I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's amazing when you finally pull through one of these.
It seems like this series, this league and you've been part of it from the beginning, it has gotten harder and harder and harder to win. We've seen that with dominant drivers like Jake Nichols even struggle to snag victories. Now, how important is it to win one of these races to remind yourself that you are still capable of being the best?
It's everything. I mean, that's what you're out here to do. That's what you take a couple hours out of your free time to sit here and do the best that you can. And you attest to it. I mean, the competition in this league is the best it's ever been. So it makes it that much sweeter, and it's kind of bittersweet. I mean, our team, you know, we announced that we weren't coming back next season, but in part that's just me kind of like, I need to take a season off and just regroup. I thought I just didn't have it anymore. So to come in here and race with the likes of James and Jake and Travis and all the guys that were up front, and to be able to race like we did, I mean, Skyli's class act. I don't care what anybody says, the dude can just race your butt off. And him and I had such a good battle, and that was so just fulfilling, like to finally have one of those. And then, you know, the cautions fall your way, it works out. But just to have that good racing and be up front and feel like you're fast is just unbelievable. So I just got to thank the team for keeping behind me and hyping me up there at the end. Simrat Market, you know, I'm a designer there, but Cameron's got my back. It just love working with him and all the team. I mean, you guys, it's just, I don't even know what to say.
Well, I'm sure it'll soak in over the next couple of hours and next couple of days and weeks, Alan. Congratulations. Welcome back to Victory Lane. And, man, I know that there's a couple more rounds left. We'll see if you can get another one. Congratulations, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Hey, Alan, real quick. I know you were starting to have some doubts about if you could still do it or not, if you could still get the car in victory lane, but you still got it, my guy. You still got it. Great win.
All right. Alan Owen, I don't know if he heard that at the end there, unfortunately.
I don't know if he did either.
He was still here, but maybe he had muted. Either way, Alan Elwood wins at Iowa. Guys, what a race. The excitement from the drop of the green flag all the way to the end. It was brutal out there, physical. Side by side, we saw cars tumbling at the end, but what a race we had. And we're not done yet. We will have a week off next week, but when we're back, we're at Fontana Speedway in California before we finish things off at Chicagoland. Connor, final thoughts?
What a crazy race. Best race of the week because it was slipping inside and we saw 3 to 4 lanes. We saw 4 wide multiple times. It was really crazy and really fun. I don't know what we got a deserving winner out of, but with that first caution, this really shook up playoff points. It's unofficial pending that EOL for Scioli, but unofficially, he will be only 9 points to the good going into Auto Club. So it is going to be tight between about 5 drivers there, separated by 15 points. If you want to get you want to get closer, you got Thieren and Beckner separated by 2. Furness to Bowie separated by what is that, about 8-ish points, somewhere around there. You'll have Matthew Bell, Clayton Montgomery in must-win situations, and if Jake Nichols can just start next week, he might be in a good spot to point his way in, Hunter. But a lot of playoff drama, and part of that is because I think for the first time in all 3 series this season, we did not get a winner in the first round in this series to go on the Chicagoland.
Yeah, the decision, I'm still appalled by the decision by Scioli to come in. It seemed like a guaranteed top 5, would have been good on points, and gets caught up in the wreck, might get the EOL, only +9 above the cutoff line, but an incredible racer we saw from Iowa. Got great racing in almost every single groove you can possibly imagine. And then a feel-good story, too. What a win for Alan Elwood. Like I said, one of the first guys that joined area, been with us since the ground up. So cool to see that happen. I did guarantee a new winner because Jake Matheson wasn't in the field, but I didn't expect a first-time winner for Season 5, Kyle.
Well, there you go. 2 races left to go in the season. We'll see you there in 2 weeks' time. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on Sim TV. It's Fontana, California, up next.